gosh, I miss college basketball. This would be about the time when, we'd be getting geared up, ready to go. And this pandemic has just screwed everything up. And I feel bad for a lot of the college athletes out there, particularly last year at the end of the year, the seniors who were not able to play in the NCAA tournament. Really weird the way the end of the year finished up. The guy joining us right now on the line, he is a stud, and he is going to be a huge part of this UNLV basketball team this year. We're very happy to have him as a Runnin Rebel. He is David Jenkins, who joins us right now on the line. Dave, thank you for being here. How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Doing good, David. I appreciate you joining us. I want to have some fun with you and talk about the NBA Finals a little bit. But I got to ask you this question first. How have you dealt with this global pandemic? How weird was it the end of the year last year? And how weird is it now as you're getting ready to play the season, not knowing when it's going to start? How strange is that for you?
Well, let's start with by the end of the season last year. I mean, it was very weird for me, but even more weirder for some of the seniors we had. Because, even though we didn't end up qualifying for the tournament, let's just say hypothetically that they did or that we did, then it was like, some of them guys got their opportunities taken away. I know my really good friend is the point guard for San Diego State, and, just like that, they were making the NCAA tournament, but yet they had came to realize that they weren't be able to play, and that was one of his lifelong dreams. So just looking at outside looking in, I feel like that's tough on some of those seniors and some of those guys who really want to make the tournament. But for us now, it's different. It's different times, but it's our new norm at the end of the day. So we're just trying to stay as optimistic as we can throughout the whole, because we have a whole bunch of procedures during practice when it comes to wearing masks before and after, not during, obviously, but before and after. And really just trying to make sure we're getting grasp hold of the fact that this is our new norm. But, it's a good thing that we know we have a season, because at one point we didn't know. We were just working out for no reason. So we know we have a starting date on November 25th, and I know we play that day. I don't know who or when, or I don't know who or where we play, but I just know we play that day. And we just got confirmation that the Maui Invitational just got moved to North Carolina, so we're going to be playing in that at a high level. So we're just excited that we're going to have a season at the end of the day, and we're just trying to make sure that, we're ready, because we didn't want to be the team that, even though the pandemic was happening, that we weren't going to be ready when our name was called.
Sure.
We are.
Understandable. Well, I'm really glad that you guys are playing in that Maui tournament. There's some great teams in that tournament. That's going to be great for you guys to be able to play in that. I think it's a great test. Going back to last season, and nothing to do with the pandemic, were you surprised that Amari Hardy decided to transfer? Because let's be honest, Amari Hardy, pretty good player, right? I think he could have helped you guys. Have you talked to him about that? And can you share with us that decision that he made to transfer?
I was surprised myself. Amari Hardy is an amazing player, and more than that, he's an amazing person as well. He has high class and character. I talk to him a lot, and at the end of the day, I feel like everybody makes a decision that's based upon what they think is best for them, best for themselves and their family. Just like the situation where when I transferred from South Dakota State to UNLV for Coach TJ, and I feel like, he just did the same thing that he felt was best for his career and his family, which is, in my eyes, it's always the best. Some fans outside looking in always just think, oh, he's betraying the team, or, oh, he's going against UNLV. No, but the way I look at it is he's doing what's best for him, and I feel like that's how everybody should look at it. So,
I don't know.
Amari's a good dude.
Sure, no, and I know he is. I've interviewed him a bunch of times. And his brother's a great guy as well. So I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth here, but this is what I've heard, and maybe you could speak to this, David. In speaking with Amari Hardy and in talking to some people around the program, they said it was kind of a mutual thing. Amari Hardy was doing what was best for him, and at the same time, it's not that TJ Otzelberger asked him to leave the program, but it was sort of a mutual thing where maybe the coaching staff felt like maybe he didn't quite fit into what they were trying to do. Do you think there's any truth to that?
I don't think there's necessarily any truth. I think Amari fitted the situation well. I think now at times, maybe like the offense. I feel like if you really notice towards the end of the season, everybody started to click, and I feel like there was a lot of rumors going on, a lot of this not said in the beginning of the season because we weren't playing our best game. It could have been because of, fans put it on certain individuals and things like that. But I think when it comes to me, I think Amari fit our situation good, and I think he, excelled well in our program.
Yeah, he's a great athlete, and obviously you're right. He's a great kid, and we certainly wish him well. Let me ask you this, David, and going back to the pandemic, and we don't know if there's going to be fans allowed at games or not, but just hypothetically speaking, what do you think it would be like for you as a college basketball player? You've played in front of big crowds before. What will it be like for you if, and I know it's an if, and it's a hypothetical, if you're playing in the Thomas and Mack Center in a few months and there's no fans there? How will you react to that?
Yeah, man, I feel like that'll be such a weird situation because, again, as you mentioned, I've always played in where there's a bunch of fans and a bunch of energy going on throughout the whole gym. But I mean, again, this is our new norm, man. So at the end of the day, it's not like we can sit here and be like, oh, well, we're not playing good because we have no fans. At the end of the day, we still got to play at a high level if we want to accomplish our goals at the end of the year, making it to the NCAA tournament and getting a bunch of wins, certain things like that. I feel like if you really think about it, this is how I think about it at the end of the day as well. During practice, we don't have no fans as well, and we still got to compete at a high level. So I feel like we got to feed off each other's energy, the bench's energy, our coaches, everybody from the whole program. I feel like we got to feed off their energy if we want to be successful. So to me, seeing guys at the end of the bench cheering for us, loud, clapping it up, to me is more fulfilling than having a bunch of fans in the first place. So
sure.
Don't get me wrong, I love my fans. We love all of our fans. We love them being there. But I love seeing my guys at the end of the bench happy for one another, because when we have genuine success and genuine happiness for one another, I feel like is what leads to postseason success.
No question. If you're just joining us, we're speaking with David Jenkins, a UNLV Runnin Rebel. Obviously, we're talking about the pandemic and how that can affect things and the possibility of no fans. We hope that fans are allowed so long as that it is safe. Well, David, as a Runnin Rebel and as a UNLV student there, I'm sure you're pretty happy to hear that it appears as though we are going to have some UNLV football and some fans are allowed to be able to be in Allegiant Stadium. I would imagine you guys are pretty happy about that.
Sure. Yeah. Again, it's funny because you asked me a question about the fans that we might have in the Thomas and Mack Center. Well, it was kind of like gave us a little faith and hope that we'd have a little bit of fans, since the football team does as well.
Right.
But no, I mean, I want to try to get out to go see a football game as well, because obviously everybody's excited to go see the new stadium and the new football team with the new coach. I personally met the new coach. He's a great guy, so I'm really happy for the UNLV football team and their future success. Again, but hopefully that carries for us. Hopefully we can have maybe like 10% or half capacity or whatever it is, because again, the fans, just as much as we carry ourselves, the fans carry us so much, man, and we're really blessed to have a UNLV fan base.
Absolutely. So, David, there's a lot of UNLV fans out there that are unfamiliar with some of the newer faces, and there's a lot of them, quite frankly, on this UNLV basketball team. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? Some of these new guys that have come in, obviously a lot of guys have left, and the chemistry and what we can expect. I know it's difficult to say exactly what you can expect from this team without you guys really being on the floor competing. But talk to me a little bit about this team. In late November, you guys are going to be out there playing. As you said, don't know who. But talk to me a little bit about this team and what can fans expect, and give me a little rundown and give the fans a little bit of information about this new team.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I mean, it's a bunch of young guys mixed with a couple of vets, so it makes the combination fit well. A lot of the young guys, what I really, really love about this team more than anything is we don't have nobody with no egos. So when you have a team with guys with no egos who are not just worried about individual success, it ultimately leads in team success. So, again, like you said, we have a bunch of new guys. Like almost our whole team is a bunch of new guys, but that's a good thing because they're learning from us each and every day. Guys like me, Marvin Coleman, Bryce Hamilton, and Bake Diong. They're learning from guys like us, and being able to see us how we work each and every day, it rubs off on them. And the fact that they have no ego, and they're willing to learn and they're willing to do certain things. Listen to the coaches; they're all coachable as well. So that's one thing. But I feel like we're going to be a really young team, but we're going to be full high energy. Our defense is going to be at a high level, and our offense is going to be at a high level as well. I feel like we have better offense than maybe last year because we have guys who are going to be able. They want to win at a really, really high level, and they want to be able to share the ball, and they want to be able to see other success. As I mentioned before, when it's easy when you get up and you make a jump shot yourself and get happy for yourself, but how happy can you get for your teammate when he makes a shot or he makes a dunk and things like that? And I see it in practice when we're already practicing, and I see it like when Bake Diong goes up for a dunk and the whole team is getting hyped up, man. Like to me, that gives me the chills because when you can do certain things like that and pump up your teammate, it ultimately makes everybody feel good, and it makes that person next to you want to run through a brick wall for you. So I feel like, and I feel like that's the whole team. Like everybody, I feel like just wants to run through a brick wall for one another. And I just feel like when you can see that on a day-to-day basis in practice, I feel like it's only going to help us later on. And then one big thing that's really essential for this team is we hang out off the court as much as we can. 6 feet social distance with mask on, but we hang out with each other, and that's really, really one underrated thing in college basketball. I feel like the really successful teams are the teams that are doing things with each other outside of basketball, going to the movies, going to dinner, whatever, it's playing card games with each other. Those things really add up when it comes to winning on the court as well.
You know, you mentioned Marvin Coleman yourself, obviously Bryce Hamilton and Mbake Jung. It sounds like four of the top starting five. Are you going to be playing the two, David? Are you looking at Marvin playing the one, you playing the two? Actually, if that takes place, I'm very confident because Marvin to me is more of a distributor than Amari was. Amari was obviously a very very close friend of yours, but I think that you actually fit better on the court with Marvin as him being able to set you up for 3-pointers as a two guard. Who do you think will complete the starting five outside of yourself, Marvin, Bryce Hamilton, and Mbake Jung?
Well, to answer your first part of it, me and Marvin complement each other well.
Yeah, I agree.
More than anything on the court, we're like really, 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 really close off the court. So that's that's another thing. Man, we have we have some guys who are stepping up right now in practice, man. Like it's honestly hard to say. We got Edo Delcadia from our junior college transfer. We got Moses Wood, the transfer from Reno. We got Devin Tillis, who was an underrated recruit out of high school, and a lot of the fans didn't really know who he was. But man, he's really stepping up in practice. You got Nick Blake and so on. I feel Edo, our junior college transfer, brings a lot of tenacious and energy and a lot of heart, So I feel like he would be a good fit. But I also feel like Moses Wood, the way he shoots the ball and the way he can space the floor, would be a good fit as well. But I mean, at the end of the day, it really pans out and really going to see who because at TJ, it doesn't matter who's the most talented. It doesn't matter who looks the best. Last year he sat almost the whole starting five because he just wants the guys who wants to go out there and win and compete at a high level. So.
I like that. What you just mentioned, David, I had a really newfound respect for TJ Otzelberger. There was a moment in the season where he sat out Amari Hardy, and I think when Amari came back, he was a better player for the team. Maybe not for himself, but he played better team defense. He distributed the ball. And after that, if you recall, David, after he sat Amari, the team just played better. They were starting to win games, and you guys were playing better basketball. Let's have a little fun now. Let's talk a little NBA, David. I know you're a huge basketball fan, of course, at heart. I have to be honest with you. I grew up, David, a Boston Celtics fan, and what the Miami Heat did to my Celtics. Let's start with the Miami Heat, okay? Speaking of a newfound respect, when Spoelstra won NBA championships with LeBron and Wade and Bosh, I said, come on, anybody can win a championship with those guys. What Spoelstra has done with this Miami Heat team, in my personal opinion, is the coaching job of the year, maybe of the last decade, as far as I'm concerned. Yes, they have good players, but they're young. Yes, you have Jimmy Butler and a couple of veterans. What he's been able to accomplish with this team, I think they play like a college team, a very good college team in this respect, David. And you can tell me whether you agree or not, but the way they share the ball, how unselfish they are, and how happy these guys are playing with one another. I think this is the happiest Jimmy Butler has ever been in his career, and it shows on the court. I just think they are a tough team. What do you make about this Miami Heat team, David?
Man, it's funny you talk about these dudes because we literally talk about the Miami Heat every day.
Really?
Compares us to them every day. And there are multiple reasons. I say this because, one, you said how they look like a really advanced college team. They do. They're a bunch of vets, or a couple of vets mixed with a bunch of young guys, just like us as well. And they play at such a high level because, I really appreciate and respect Jimmy Butler, not because he is a scorer and because things like that, because a couple of years ago, Jimmy's name was Jimmy Buckets, okay? Now it's Jimmy the winner.
Right.
He's not just scoring 30 points. Like, he's doing every little intangible to help the team win. And while doing that, leading those younger guys as well. And I can really respect that he's doing that. And TJ points that out every single day. Like, he's a huge fan of Jimmy Butler because he's doing that. And I feel like the fact that he can sit there and lead that team is really saying much about his character. It was a little gesture such as he came into practice the other day with Tyler Hero's high school jersey on. And to me, that just speaks ultimate teammate. Like, it just speaks ultimate teammate.
Sure, yeah, that's very cool.
If I come in and I see Marvin Coleman wearing my high school jersey, I'm like, man, this guy really, this guy really cares.
Right,
like,
especially a rookie like Tyler Hero.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yep.
And I just like doing little things like that really lets that person know you care about them. And I just feel like, again, it goes back to that scenario I said. It makes you want to run through a brick wall for that person.
He's also a very good businessman. He was selling coffee for $20 inside the bubble for quite some time, which is kind of exciting. I think Bam Adebayo is a tough matchup for Anthony Davis. Adebayo kind of has guard skills. I think he's a lot tougher than Cantor and Daniel Thies. He's not going to get fouled out of the game.
Well, that's for sure.
Yeah. Anthony Davis is considered to be one of the best defensive players in the world, and he probably is. But I really think this Heat team they have the physicality to match up with guys like LeBron and Anthony Davis. But I believe the X factor in the entire series could be Alex Caruso. Do you agree with that?
Oh man, it's funny you said that. I literally just said the same thing to my guys. I said Alex Caruso is going to be the X factor for this game, but. It's funny you guys talk about Bam. I played him in high school with travel basketball, and I was just telling my guys a story how I remember him getting a steal, and he had took 2 steps from half court and cocked the ball back to his ankle and dunked it so hard it was crazy. He's like such an athlete. He's such an athlete. But again, man, they just play at such a high level. Like Duncan Robinson is really good. He's really good for that Miami Heat team as well. But to me, it's almost like to me, in my personal opinion, it's hard to beat the Lakers in a 7-game series.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Talent. Let's talk about that, David, and I'm glad you brought that up. Let's talk about the LA Lakers. Now, I think we're all in agreement in the Miami Heat. I just get the sense, David, that LeBron wants it, Davis wants it. Rajon Rondo is playing some great basketball. He always seems to turn it up a notch in the playoffs. He's a savvy veteran. I've talked to some coaches that tell me a lot about Rondo, about how he's probably the most competitive player in the NBA, and you wouldn't know that, but he is. These guys want to win it. I think there's a couple different reasons. Yeah, you want to win an NBA championship. Not to say Miami doesn't want to win it, but with that, just the whole Kobe factor, I think that's a part of it. They want to honor Kobe and win it for Kobe. I think they're just, sometimes you need that extra drive. And I'm not saying that LeBron and Davis don't have drive. Of course they do. They wouldn't be where they are without the drive. But sometimes to win a championship, you need that extra pedal to the metal. I feel like Kobe Bryant, this pandemic, racial divide in this country, there are so many issues, and I just feel like the Lakers, this isn't really LeBron's championship, it's for everybody else, and I feel like LeBron and Anthony Davis and this Lakers team have kind of embraced that, and that's why I just feel like as good as Miami is playing, I just think in the end the 2 best players on the floor are LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and I just think they're going to get it done.
I couldn't agree with you more. I just feel like they're playing at a high level right now. I mean, I feel like they're not relaxing because, like you said, it's like they're doing it for something bigger than them. Right. They're doing it for Kobe, and I just feel like when you're doing it for something like that, I mean, it's hard to beat them. And as I was telling Coach the other day, if it was a game, if it was a 1 game to decide the finals, versus Lakers versus the Heat, 1 game, I'd say, okay, maybe the Heat got a chance. I just don't see a team beating the Lakers on a 7-game series. Man.
Right.
It's hard to beat them guys when they're playing at such a high level like that. They're huge, and they're playing for something bigger than them, man. LeBron's on a mission, AD's on a mission, and everybody. So I just feel like it fits right now, and I feel like they're playing at a high level.
No question about it. And also keep into the fact that this is on a neutral floor, right? The Lakers are not going to have to go to Miami and play games on the road. That would be a lot more difficult for them. Would you say because it's on a neutral floor?
But they're also in Florida.
Yeah, would you? I understand that, but this is still a neutral floor. There's no fans there.
Right.
It is a neutral floor. There's no fans there. Would you say that the fact that it is a neutral floor, I think it helps the Lakers?
Yeah, I mean, it makes a big difference, man. I mean, it makes a huge difference because there's no home court advantage at the end of the day. So it's not like when the Miami Heat go on a run, then the Lakers are just feeling all type of pressure from the fans. I mean, it's not really like that. It's like, a team goes on a run, then the next team goes on a run, and momentum just keeps changing compared to momentum just staying on one team's side the whole time. I mean, there's no fans. So, I mean, it's neutral. So it's going to make a huge difference. And I feel like, again, we're already talking about how difficult it is to beat the Lakers in a 7-game series. So when it's a neutral court, I just feel like that's why the Lakers are even playing at a higher level because it's neutral. So there's no one that's having fans on each side.
So, reading between the lines, are you saying that you think the Lakers win this in 7? And if so, who do you think wins the MVP?
I think Lakers in 5.
Oh, wow.
I think Lakers in 5. But I'd say I think Anthony Davis wins the MVP.
Agree.
LeBron is my favorite player ever. Ever. But I just think LeBron, it's LeBron. He's focused on winning compared to individual accolades like some others. So I just feel like he's willing to give AD the ball each and every time if that is what's going to help.
I agree.
He's willing to have 12 points but 20 assists.
Agree.
You know,
Yep.
That's LeBron.
And I think if Anthony Davis is healthy, if he remains healthy, I agree with you. I think the intangibles of his rebounding skills, his defensive prowess, he's going to be scoring a lot of points. We know that. So I agree with you. I want to ask you this, David, because I haven't had a chance to ask you this since the tragic death of Kobe Bryant and those others, his daughter and all those others on that helicopter, horrible, tragic accident.
Yeah.
Been a little while since we spoke. I think we spoke last season, early in the season. What did Kobe Bryant mean to you? I mean, I'm 40 years old. I'm obviously an old fart. I'm older than you. But but with that being said, I grew up watching Kobe.
Still in your prime, man.
Yeah, sometimes I don't feel that way. But I mean, what he meant to me, I mean, I grew up watching Kobe, even though I was a Celtics fan. I always had a tremendous amount of appreciation and respect for Kobe. Extremely intelligent and smart basketball player. So gifted. One of the best to ever play the game. And then I see what he did off the court. His family. He made mistakes in his life, but the great husband and father he was, and it was heartbreaking. And listen, there's a lot of celebrities that I've admired that have died in my lifetime, but I didn't take it the same way as this time. Maybe it was the circumstances. It was very emotional for me. How did you take it when you heard about that news?
Man, it hurt, man. It hurt like crazy for a long time. Still does to this day. When you like you mentioned, you look at guys like Kobe. He's an icon to not just basketball players, not just football players. He's an icon to everybody in the entire world. Like, he had guys, everybody was like, saying something on social media that didn't even pertain to a sport because he's such an icon off the court as well. It hurt so bad to. I mean, at one point I couldn't even function because again, it's Kobe Bryant we're talking about. It's the Mamba we're talking about. He changed people's mentalities again, not just on the court, but he's changing mentalities about people, what they're doing in their life on each and every day basis, and how he went about his life. I read the book Mamba Mentality almost every week over and over and over and over and over, and it just speaks about what he did, how he did it, and how he impacted others' lives as well. One thing I really liked about Kobe was he was a family man as well. He was the coach of his daughter's team in L.A.
Yep.
At the Mamba Sports Academy.
Right.
And that just spoke volumes to me. You see multiple videos on the internet of him teaching his daughter his signature fadeaway and her perfecting it. And just things like that, man. It hurts to see that, and it hurts even more that his daughter had to go with him, and it hurts to see all the others that were involved as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes even when I think about that, man, I still get choked up and emotional about it.
Me too.
It's almost like when you see things like that happen, you just don't think it could happen to people like that.
No, you know what? Me too. David, I'm with you, man. And I remember the week after, that same week, I got a big poster that I put up in my place. It's the image of Kobe Bryant during the All-Star weekend looking down at his daughter. I don't know if you know that image when they're wearing the red jerseys.
Exactly.
I got it. I framed it, and I look at it every day. Number one, because we don't want to forget who Kobe Bryant is, but the other thing is we never want to forget how precious life is, and you never know when it's going to end, so you have to take it one day at a time and appreciate it. David, I'll tell you this, man, I always appreciate it when you come on our show. You're a class act, and I'm sure you'll be playing professional basketball somewhere, but I also have no doubt you're going to be a professional broadcaster somewhere, and you might take my job one day, so I appreciate I appreciate
it. You gotta watch out, man.
I should, but David, it's always a pleasure when you come on. Maybe in a month or so we can catch up again a few weeks before the season starts, but I really do appreciate your time, my man. Thank you so much.
Oh, man, I'm always blessed to be on here. Anytime you guys want, I'm always be able to be on. I'll be around, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks,
DJ.
You're the best. Thanks so
guys.
much.
Have a good one.
You too.